sparks when he had to finish off that set. And even then, that was super, super close. So, you know, it's interesting to see now, is this going to be the Kragg? Is this going to be the Mollo? I'm genuinely curious to know, because we've seen him warm up both in the little corner there. The baby tilts either direction.
And honestly, that's a scary thing about fighting in this game, because you don't really see as many counter picks character-wise like you do in some of the other games. But in Rivals, just having two characters that feel like opposites like that can just be such a huge difference.
I honestly, I mean, not to really dive into it too deep right now, but I don't even know if like they're that different of characters though. I mean, you think about it, you're looking at Fair instead of back air with, you know, Kragg to Mollo, Rocks and the bombs. Like, it's a pretty similar, I wouldn't say setup, because obviously they are still very different characters, but it feels like Zeebee plays them in a very similar manner.
That's a fair point. One of the big differences I would say would be the style of zoning, because essentially it's a far threat compared to a near threat, especially with that side B pop gun that Mollo has, because you could just hover that over your opponent with good spacing and just force them to panic, because you don't really know when your opponent's going to be releasing it. On top of that, it does help create a lot of unique avenues of attack with the different types of bombs that Mollo has.
I unfortunately I can't remember the name of the Mollo player, but I was playing online and I saw someone B-reverse the gun as I was trying to recover with Claren and fall down along the stage to gimp me with it, and I was just like, that's sick!
It's the worst feeling in the world when you're going against that, because it's like, well, I guess I'm just out of a stock here.
No, man. I mean, I play Rivals from a purely enjoyment standpoint. I like to win, obviously. No, who doesn't? But like when I see somebody do cool stuff like that, I'm just like, that's sick. I mean, I deserve the loss there. So we see game one starting on Forest Floor, giving Zeebee a ton of space here for these setups. We'll see how Xaro does fighting against Mollo.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, because Orcane is definitely one of those characters that once they get in, it's really hard to get them off of you because of the low frame data that they have. But right now, Zeebee just doing everything they can with these bombs to just try and rack up the damage. Finally going to be able to get it down there to get something going here.
What's going to be interesting, too, is how Xaro's aerials are going to be trading with Zeebee's tilts. Because I feel like a lot of Mollo's tilts are so good at just like anti-airing a lot of the spacing that other characters have. And we've already seen it a couple times where we've had some unique trades with these setups already. So I'm curious to see how much that plays into effect over the course of potentially 5 games here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be wild to see, because Mollo definitely has some unique tilts compared to a lot of the other casts. I mean, just the way that up tilt's able to anti-air so reliably can be a good way to stuff out Orcane as they're trying to approach you in the air. And that up strong, just such a good anti-air tool, because it lasts so long, covers the entire space above you. It's something you absolutely have to respect.
Nice DI there from Xaro on that back air. And he's looking pretty comfortable this game one. This isn't too much of a surprise for him.
Yeah, not really overextending, recognizing the openings that they need to go in on, and just capitalizing as much as they can.
There it is. So only 97, and I mean, Mollo can make this back pretty quickly, but Xaro has looked pretty confident in his play so far.
Yeah, I mean, Zeebee's definitely going to need to find some way to just slow down this momentum that Xaro keeps generating, because he's able to just dash under a lot of these bomb throws with that low profile that Orcane has. And it's making it difficult for Zeebee to control the area that they want.
That was a huge reverse back air there.
Yep, chucking the bombs down, trying to blow Xaro up off stage, but not to be able to find it, and just barely out of the range of that down strong.
That was actually so sick there from Xaro, using Orcane's side B and using the hitbox of it to push the finishing bomb away from him, because that looked like that was perfectly timed by Zeebee.
Oh, actually running up and getting the perfect timing on that spark bomb as well to be able to change it to his own bomb. I mean, getting the parry timing on those bombs as they're about to detonate is not an easy task.
Whoa, the low back air there going to kill all the way across screen. And Zeebee now on his last stock of game one.
Yeah, just really carrying this momentum and not letting up once they've gotten in on Zeebee. This has been difficult for Zeebee to find some sort of way to peel Xaro off of him once he's lost the neutral.
I really like that they're using that guided up B to try to put himself right into the edge of the bubbles, takes a minimal amount of damage, and then is back to being actionable above the stage finally.
Oh, and a good parry by Xaro. They're going to be able to take it off. Not enough to take off the stock. These bubbles are definitely looking like a nuisance for Zeebee as they're trying to recover here.
No DI out on that gunshot. Yep, and there's a run in with the down strong, baby. All else fails, frame 7.
I mean, it's one of the quickest down strongs in the game, and it feels like it has hardly any end lag. It is not an easy move to deal with.
I was just about to say the answer is also if you miss, do it again.
Yep.
And immediately we see the Kragg getting warmed up. I'm curious if this is just maybe some mind games from Zeebee, but it looks like he's going to lock in here.
Yeah, that looks like, yep, it is going to be the call from Zeebee here. Definitely some different tools to try and slow this down. And going to Endless Abyss here, get rid of the platforms entirely. See how well this plays out for Zeebee here.
That is going to be rough, though. That's the biggest problem here for Zeebee. And this is nothing new. I mean, this has been the matchup for years now. You see Xaro put those bubbles on the ledge, and honestly, the same here with the down special as well, but so hard sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, those bubbles just are such a pain for Kragg to deal with, because once you're down on that pillar, you don't really have any reliable way to use those bubbles to your advantage in order to get back on stage. Like we saw with Mollo, like you mentioned, you're able to just cancel your up special off of them and get another one. But with Orcane, that's not going to be, or with Kragg, that's not going to be the case. But Zeebee going to be able to take the first stock after canceling the pillar, but Xaro,
the longest charge on that up strong too.
Hydroplaning that right into Zeebee as well.
But still, I mean, even after how that stock started, Zeebee looking very comfortable in the second game.
Yeah, those pillars definitely able to do a little bit more to try and slow down Xaro on the ground here. But again, we see these bubbles, no bubbles there at the edge of the stage, able to get back on here.
Yep. Man, it looked like he had the perfect DI there to survive, but then just at the last second, the last pixel crossed over that line.
Yeah, that back air is just so hard to DI perfectly in order to get out of it, because if you DI in the wrong way, you just end up getting hit by the sour spot and set up for another one.
And here comes this wall again. Zeebee with the kind of Randy-ish F smash. Ooh.
There he goes. Zeebee at least able to reverse out of it, get a little bit of offense going, and has Xaro at a high enough percent where he should be able to find a kill with either an up air or a forward air, but the challenge is going to be finding it in the right spot.
Yeah, especially with how Xaro's playing confidently around him. You know, we're looking at a 100% difference right now between them.
Yeah, and that's not going to be an easy deficit to overcome at this point in the game, because we are in the final gambit here for SD right now. Last stock for both these players, and Zeebee off stage, but able to find him next to the rock there, and is starting to mount an offense, but again, that frame 7 down strong.
And you even saw Zeebee's reaction there, just like, come on.
It's like you think you have an opening, then all of a sudden you just see that water spouting out of the ground. It's like, well, I guess that's over.
What's crazy too is the presence of mind Xaro had before that down strong, because he was using those water droplets over and over and over again, but that last water droplet had landed on Zeebee's pillar. So even if Zeebee had retreated back to that pillar again, now suddenly your safety net is booby trapped.
That is true, and that's definitely one of those interesting things to see. Just situational awareness at this top level, recognizing what you can do, where your opponent is, and what options they have left. So Zeebee is just not able to contend against Xaro's edge trapping here.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because like that literally exact same setup just happened from Xaro too, like just constantly ready for that.
Absolutely. I mean, with so many Kraggs in the top 10, it's no surprise that Xaro has no short of a practice against that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this. Just the bubbles at the edge of the stage. It feels like Zeebee is just struggling out here. Find some way to get past it. There we go. The side B going to be able to find that opening to end it in an up strong to finish off Xaro's first stock there.
I was going to say potentially a big opening there from Zeebee, but only gets the 2 hits and only gets 19% because of it.
Yep, and that puddle teleport just makes it so hard to edge guard against Orcane, because if you overcommit and that puddle's on the other side of the stage, there goes your entire edge guard. They're going to be all the way on the other side of the stage, and now you're back to neutral.
Just do it, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Just do it. Down Strong sponsored by Nike.
I mean, it just feels like such a hard move to contend against. Like, what do you even do at that point? Oh, I like that. Jumping up, going for the down air to try and get a bounce off the pillar. Not a conventional option you see too often.
Dead? Yes,
like,
sir.
What do you do? What do you do? Where do you DI?
No, you don't. You die. You absolutely die. It's bad DI, bad DI. Oh, God, I'm DIing bad. Oh, wait, it's Rockwall. I'm dead.